Now people are saying that Latinos didn't know that Black Americans are not immigrants. Child, I just don't even know what to say. I don't know what to say to that. It makes sense though, because the narrative that I've always heard about why don't Black Americans have the same drive or take initiative, or the narrative that we're lazy, even though we worked here for free. Like, didn't you know that? Didn't you know that our ancestors worked for free for hundreds of years? Like, I thought that was common knowledge, but I guess it's not. Like, this is really bad. If this is the case, why do you even need to take away critical race theory? People don't know it now. Might as well leave it in place. They don't know it right now. They don't even know the history of Black people in America.
So Latinos, y'all thought we was immigrants? So you mean to tell me y'all thought we was just over here chilling? So that's why you guys are saying that we're next. Man, we was first. And they still ain't stopped coming for us. So, hey, just don't worry about us, man. We gonna take care of us, and y'all take care of y'all, man. Cause we know how y'all look at us, man. And don't try to say that it's not that way, man, because we know it is. We know it.
Man, stop trying to convince these people that we need to stand together and all that. They ain't trying to hear that shit, bro. They've been betrayed so many times, bro. 1877, after federal troops pulled out of the South, bro. Betrayed. 40 acres and a mule, betrayed. You feel me? Jim Crow, betrayed. Redlining, betrayed. Every promise that this country has made to them has been a false promise. And now we need y'all to stand with us while we march. Leave them people alone. They ain't trying to hear that shit. They ain't trying to hear that shit because they know how prevalent racism is in our community. And they know how y'all talk about them when they ain't in the room. And they know that now y'all got y'all N-word wake up. Didn't y'all? Y'all got that Paul Mooney N-word wake up call. And now y'all want to scream unity and solidarity. Nah, bro. It don't work that way. It don't work that way.
Honey, what are you talking about? Black Americans aren't immigrants. I keep seeing this all over TikTok where people are actually learning right now that African Americans are not immigrants.
Lately, a surprising debate has surfaced online and in communities across the United States. Members of the Latino community are expressing visible frustration with Black Americans. Why? Because many Black Americans are reportedly choosing not to participate in recent immigration-related protests that, according to many Latinos, should be a shared fight, a fight for all of us. From the outside looking in, it may seem confusing. Communities of color, after all, often face similar injustices: racism, discrimination, economic hardship, and government neglect. So, when one marginalized group calls for help, shouldn't the other automatically stand in solidarity? Apparently not. And what's unfolding is not just a disagreement, it's a deep, painful misalignment of expectations, histories, and lived experiences. Well, let's unpack what's going on. Latino organizers have been mobilizing protesters in response to aggressive immigration crackdowns. They are seeing families separated, undocumented workers deported, and children being detained. And naturally, they are calling for unity, specifically asking Black Americans to join their movement with the same energy and presence that defined the Black Lives Matter protest of the past decade. But here's where things take a sharp turn. Many Black Americans are choosing to sit this one out. not out of spite, but because of what they see as long-standing silence or even hostility from Latino communities during their own struggles. As someone watching from outside the United States, it's not hard to understand both sides, but what's crucial here is context. And if you don't understand the historical and emotional backdrop, it's easy to misread this moment entirely. Black Americans, unlike most other racial or ethnic groups in the US, are not immigrants. They are the descendants of enslaved Africans, people forcibly brought to America, stripped of identity and subjected to centuries of racial oppression. Their roots in America go back over 400 years. Their struggle is not one of migration, but one of survival and systemic betrayal.
Our ancestors have been here for centuries. What are you guys learning? Who's teaching y'all? I am flabbergasted. My gasters are flabbered this week because people voted thinking the whole immigration situation was going to affect Black people first. Hello? Are y'all serious? I'm rarely stunned when it comes to things that Black people have to experience in this country, but this particular topic right here, with y'all thinking that we are immigrants, is something I just never had on my 2025 bingo card. Like, I'm stunned.
5 American facts to break the immigrants' back. Black Americans did not immigrate here. We were trafficked through chattel slavery. The first Americans arrived in Virginia in 1619, not as immigrants, but as chattel property under violent colonial rule. No visa, no port of entry, no green card. Only forced labor, rape, and death. That's it. Black Americans were here before most white, Asian, or Latino immigrants. Do your history, do your research. 1865, over 4 million Black people had already lived, worked, and died in America before the majority of European, Mexican, Chinese, or Caribbean immigrant waves began to come here. Source, U.S. Census, 1860. Black Americans are the only group whose citizenship was legislated. The 14th Amendment, 1860, was written specifically for descendants of American slaves, not immigrants. It granted legal citizenship to Black Americans who have been born on U.S. soil but treated as property. Source, U.S. Constitution, Congressional Record, Civil Rights Act, 1866. Black Americans fought in every American war before many groups were ever even allowed in America. From the Revolutionary War to the Vietnam War to Iraq, foundational Black Americans have fought, bled, and died to defend a country that doesn't even consider us human. I hope you guys understand that our blood is spilt on the land of America. Fact number 5, to break the immigrant's back, to break the ignorance of immigrants' mind, okay? Most Latino immigration was not legal until 1965. 1965? The Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965 removed the racial quotas that had previously blocked non-European immigration. That means the majority of Latino families didn't enter the U.S. legally until the 20th century, while Black Americans had already been here for 400 years. 400 years. So I'm saying that to say this. I think that one of the biggest problems that we have in both communities is we don't have knowledge of who each other are. And I believe if the Hispanic community had more knowledge of who Black Americans actually are, they would automatically have more respect for us, right? They don't know who we are, so they don't respect us. I don't know if that's to blame them or the government, but something's got to change.
When Latino protesters assume that Black Americans should naturally join them in immigration protest, they may be missing a critical point. This is not their fight. And more importantly, many feel that Latino communities have never truly shown up for Black Americans when the tables were turned. And here's the irony. Some Latino even believe that Black Americans could be deported under Trump's immigration policies. That assumption, floating around during Trump's presidency, speaks volume. It reveals a lack of understanding about who Black Americans are. It also reflects how easy people conflate skin color with immigrant status, which is not just ignorant, it's dangerous. This misunderstanding is part of what's fueling the current tension. When Black Americans protested the unaliving of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and countless others, they weren't just protesting the police. They were confronting an entire system that had for centuries brutalized their communities. And in those moments of protest, many Black people noticed a lack of support from other minority groups, including Latinos. While some Latino individuals did stand in solidarity, a noticeable number were absent. Worse, some were even on the wrong side of the line. Stories have circulated of Latino police officers using force against Black protesters, of Latino businesses staying silent or even complaining during the unrest, and of Latino neighbors showing little to no participation in Black-led justice movement. When the Latino community is in the hot seat asking for Black solidarity, many Black Americans are saying, "Where were you when we needed you?" The response is not bitterness, it's a boundary. It's a refusal to carry the weight of everyone else's liberation without receiving the same energy in return. As an observer, I find it important to say, this isn't about denying anyone justice. This isn't about saying Latinos don't deserve to protest or seek change. Of course they do. Immigration policy in the US has been cruel, complex, and at times outright racist. Latino families are being torn apart, workers are exploited, and entire communities live in fear. Their outrage is valid. But what many fail to recognize is that solidarity isn't automatic, it's earned. If Latino activists want Black Americans to show up for their causes, they have to ask, have we shown up for them? Have we acknowledged their history? Have we challenged the anti-Blackness that exists in our own families and cultures? Have we voted in ways that support Black freedom, not just our own interest? Because here's another hard truth that's come up in this conversation. A significant percentage of Latino voters supported Donald Trump, despite his harsh rhetoric on immigration, despite his policies that directly harmed Latino communities. Why? Because some believe that aligning with whiteness would offer protection, and in doing so, some actively chose to overlook his racism against Black Americans, believing it didn't concern them. Now that Trump-era immigration policies are turning inward, those same communities are feeling the sting, and they're looking toward Black Americans for help. But it's not that simple. Solidarity without accountability is not unity, it's performance. Black Americans have led nearly every major justice movement in the US history, from abolition to civil rights to police reform. They've paid with blood, tears, and years. Other groups have often benefited from the advancement and through Black resistance, but when it's time to return the favor, support has been inconsistent at best. That's the crux of the issue. Now, let's be clear. Not every Latino is anti-Black. Not every Black American is refusing to participate. These communities are not monoliths. There are Latinos allies who always stood with Black Americans, just as there are Black activists who continue to support immigration reform. But right now, the conversation is about a broader pattern, a collective memory of being asked to help without ever being helped.
So wait, people really thought that African Americans were immigrants? Yeah, I know y'all lying. Don't immigrants go like on their own? If they go to a particular country on their own accord, because they may be trying to get away from whatever. We ain't come here because we wanted to be here. We still don't want to be here. Hell, we hoping that they maybe put us out and send us somewhere. Well, what do y'all mean? Y'all thought we were immigrants? Immigrants? Y'all know the story of how we got here? Do that make sense? Like, this world is so disillusioned about African Americans. We're descendants of Africa, but we've been here for hundreds of years. We're not first generation, second generation, third generation, fourth generation, fifth generation. Like, we've been here. We built this country. The foundation of this country is built by African Americans. We didn't come here because we want to be here. Like, what are y'all talking about? Y'all thought we were immigrants. Immigrants? Who? Where? Immigrants? I got papers to prove I ain't no immigrant. Like, some of the stuff that I hear on social media is correct. Like, for real, y'all thought we were immigrants. Come on now. Stop playing. We don't want to be here now. Get us out of here.
I'm going to explain what African American means, because everyone doesn't know. African American is what I am. My father is African. My mom's American. I'm African American. What most black people are black Americans. Their mom is black American and their dad is black American, making them black Americans. So you know what that means. They can't get deported. Do you know why? There's nowhere for them to be deported to. They're American citizens. Their parents were born here. They were born here. Their grandparents were born here. They're Americans.
If true unity is the goal, it has to be built on mutual respect, historical understanding, and reciprocal action, and certainly can't be demanded when convenient. So what should Latino activists take from this moment? First, listen. Understand that Black Americans have valid reasons for their skepticism. Ask questions. Don't make assumptions. Learn the history, not just yours, but theirs too. Second, own the missteps. Confront anti-blackness within your communities. Address the colorism, the slurs, the jokes, and the voting patterns that uphold white supremacy. It may be uncomfortable, but that's where growth starts. Third, build real alliances, not temporary partnerships. But don't just reach out when your community is under fire. Show up when others are hurting too, whether it's police brutality, economic injustices, or cultural erasure. Make it your fight too, not because it affects you directly, but because it's right. Fourth, recognize that solidarity should be mutual, not transactional. When one group only shows up to benefit from the labor of another, it breeds resentment. To expect support without showing it first undermines the very idea of coalition building. Fifth, understand that proximity to whiteness won't save you. Some Latinos have sought protection by identifying more with dominant white narratives than with other communities of color, but that protection is an illusion, temporary and conditional. True security comes from unity and mutual defense, not assimilation. 6. Reflect on the broader implications. When Latino communities expect Black Americans to act as political shield or moral anchors, it places an injustice burden on a group that has already sacrificed so much. Instead of defaulting to that expectation, why not begin to shoulder the weight of collective justice side by side, and not by leaning on a people who have constantly been left standing alone? Seventh, embrace political education. Many misconceptions about Black Americans, including the false idea that they are immigrants or that they fall under immigration enforcement, stems from a lack of civic and historical knowledge. Understanding who Black Americans are and what their relationship to the state has been is essential to build bridges that don't collapse at the first sign of tension. Until then, don't take it personally when Black Americans choose not to join your protest. It's not hatred, it's a decision rooted in experience. And their absence doesn't mean they don't care. It means they no longer willing to be everyone else's backbone while their own spine keeps breaking. From where I stand, this could be a turning point, a moment for real healing and real coalition building. But that process has to start with humility, not entitlement. Because solidarity isn't just a word, it's a two-way street. And right now, many Black Americans are simply waiting to see if anyone else is finally ready to walk it with them. Guys, drop a comment, let me know what your thoughts are. Also remember to subscribe, like, and share as well. And until next time, bye-bye.